Hi, I'm Paul Hulk. I'm the golf course and grounds manager here at Donalda. I'd like to start off by first welcoming everyone aboard or on board here. Welcome to the Donalda team. It's going to be a great year. Hopefully a lot better than last year with COVID, but it looks like things are heading in the right direction. I'm here to give you a quick tour of the barns and the shop and the grounds department. We're going to start off here with our parking lot. This is where our staff will come first thing in the morning. It was actually our parking lot / meeting area last year with COVID restrictions. We weren't allowed inside the building as a team. So this is where we did most of our morning meetings throughout the year. If you follow me, we'll head up to the main staff entrance. So as you arrive to work, you park your car and you'll head in here into the staff entrance. So follow me and we'll go inside. Okay, now we're inside the maintenance building. The first thing you'll see when you come in is this is where all the keys for all our equipment is held. We like to keep it locked and secure inside our building that has an alarm system. Beside that, you're going to find an information board. Here we keep some emergency contacts, some diseases, turf diseases and turf insects that you might find out on the course that people find interesting. Last year, this is where we also had our COVID monitoring. We had a chart up here so that we could see who was coming in and out. Everyone had their name up here. If you were inside, you pulled off your name tag, and we had a limit of 3 people inside at a time. Right beside that is our first aid station. So here's a first aid kit, any cuts, scrapes, anything like that. This is where you'll find Band-Aids. And then if you follow me, we'll head upstairs.
Okay, go.
As we head up to the top floor of the building, here's where you're going to find the men's locker room and the ladies' locker room. Everyone has their own locker to store clothes. Obviously, we work in all types of weather conditions, so our staff need places to store warm clothes, extra clothes, all that good stuff. In here is Brenda, our lovely gardener. This is her office, where she keeps all her stuff for gardening purposes. Here is another information board. This one is kind of for club info. You'll find job postings for at the club. We got the board of directors, contact information, all that good stuff here. And then as we come this way, this is our lunchroom. So this is where we do all our morning meetings. Staff come up here. You go to your locker, you get changed. You punch into our punch system here. And then you take a seat and we have our morning meetings in a normal year. Last year with COVID, all our meetings were held outside, and we're hoping this year it goes back to normal. In the lunchroom, we have a coffee maker, we have 3 microwaves, a fridge, toaster oven, toaster, and a freezer for staff to bring in lunches. We also have a large TV in here for, again, information sessions, training. We can use this to show pictures of the golf course, things we like, things we don't like. But this is our main meeting room for the staff. And up here, at the very top of the building, is the main offices. This is where Dave, our tennis manager, his office is down here with us. The second assistant, Corey and Dylan, their desks are here. This is Kevin, our assistant superintendent's desk or office. And then if you come in here, this is my main office. I have an open door policy here. Anytime staff have any issues, questions, any concerns, feel free to pop in and talk to me. I always like to make time for the staff. We want you to feel comfortable here and enjoy your time here. So as I said, the door is always open. In here, I also have the irrigation computer. It's the main computer that controls all the irrigation system at night. So we have an automated irrigation system. We just program what areas we want to run, so we can control if we want to run greens, tees, fairways, any combo of those, and also the length of time, so that we don't have to come back in night like they used to do way back when golf first started, they had night waters out here that were coming in at 3 in the morning running heads. So this was a great advancement for turf people like myself. It takes that out of our hands, which is awesome. Okay, one of the questions we've been asked by a few staff who haven't started yet is about the uniform. So we thought we'd take time to show you a sample. All staff are given 4 of these red shirts. This is actually a fitting shirt that we have. Normally you have your name embroidered on the shirt as well as the club logo. You'll also receive a pair of 3 pairs of pants or shorts, any combination that you like, but they're khaki style. And then all staff are given a bump cap to wear out on the course at all times.
Go.
All right, our last stop on the main floor here is the equipment shop. This is where Rob and Ian, our head mechanic and assistant, are most of the time. We have $2 million, or roughly $2 million worth of equipment down here that they're responsible for. What you just saw in there was their office, where they do all their record keeping. They have a lot of spare parts, filters, all that stuff in there. The room I'm standing in now is called the Rounds room. This is where we keep all our course accessories, paint, towels, signs, all that sort of stuff to make sure members are following direction and lines are painted and all that stuff for hazards. We also have some tools in here, spare tee markers, spare flags, all that stuff's in here. Through this little doorway are the main shop. In that room right over here is the grinding equipment. They're in here quite a bit, making sure that all our reels are nice and sharp. The grass is getting a nice crisp cut, which keeps it healthy and playing really well. Here's Rob. He's busy working on a backpack blower, getting it ready for the new year. This is the main bay, and then right over here is the hoist bay. And Ian, our head equipment mechanic, is in there working hard on a skid steer, getting it ready for the season, just doing the final prep work. In here we have a hoist so that these gentlemen can lift up the equipment and work under them safely and properly. So now we're in the chemical and pesticide storage. A lot of staff don't generally come in here. It's generally the licensed technicians that come in here. In order to spray pesticides on the property, you have to be licensed by the government. So all the managers are certified. These are our 2 sprayers. They cost $75,000 each. One of them is equipped with a GPS unit to allow for more accurate spraying. Part of our job is to make sure the grass is healthy and strong, and that involves the odd pesticide application. Generally, when you do see these sprayers out here, most of the time it is fertilizer applications going down. We like to feed the turf, especially greens, with very small amounts of nitrogen. We're trying to control the growth. We don't want it growing too quickly or too slowly, so it's very precise applications. So generally when these things are out, it is fertilizer. When we do have to spray chemicals, which we try to do the least amount as possible, we follow all the regulations set out by the government to make sure we're doing it accurately and as needed. So that's the chemical. Okay, so here we are inside our main equipment barn. These were in fact used as barns in the early 1900s when this property was a farm. So we still call them the barns today, and this is where we keep all our equipment. So I'm going to start down here with some of our cutting equipment that we use. Right over here are our brand new John Deere greens mowers. We just purchased them last fall and they are ready to go this year. We're very excited about these things being on our greens. We did a lot of testing with all different mowers, and we found these things work the best on our greens. So we're happy to have them. We also have T-mowers and approach mowers are kept over here. Right beside them, as Dylan's showing you, these are our heavier duty utility vehicles. They're called John Deere Pro Gators. We use these for hauling bunker sand, heavier loads, fertilizer, things like that out on the golf course. Right beside it is another new piece of equipment. It's our top dresser used for top dressing greens to make the greens smooth. It also helps break down thatch and all that sort of stuff. Moving on is the utility vehicles. These are really the first vehicles that our staff are taught on are in this row. Once we get comfortable with you and you get comfortable with the course and driving around, we usually progress to the Pro Gators, which is a little bit of a step in between these two. And then again, as you get comfortable with those, we train on the Pro Gators, which I just showed you, that are standard vehicles. So you get the clutch and all that good stuff. Right next to this in the barn is our cutting equipment. What you'll find here is our big rough unit. We have a rough mower named Peter. He's been with us for 21 years, I believe. And this is his machine. He generally operates it every day. Right beside me here it's called a Toro Triflex. It's a mower used for cutting fairways. A lot of courses use these to cut greens, but we actually use walk mowers to cut greens and these to cut our fairways. Over here are a couple more of our smaller rough units that we use around greens and tees, where we don't want heavy traffic. We keep the bigger guy away from those areas and let the smaller ones get in there, and they also have a lot of undulation around the greens and tees, so it's a lot safer for those little ones to handle it. And then we're very fortunate at Donalda to have even more equipment, the heavy duty stuff, which are tractors. We have 3 tractors on site. We have a mini excavator, 2 skid steers, and then I'm not sure if you can see behind is another Toro zero-turn mower. It actually is more of a snow removal unit. But yeah, that's a basic overview of our main equipment here. Just to give staff an idea, I always like to throw some numbers out. This machine right here, the big rough mower, was purchased I think 2 years ago, and it cost us $95,000 for this one piece of equipment. So we like to send that message out to staff just to let them know that they're dealing with some pretty pricey stuff and to really take care of it. As you can tell, our mechanics do a wonderful job cleaning this stuff up. A lot of it is 5, 6, 7 years old, and it looks like we just bought it recently. So they do a great job here.
Go.
Okay, another part of the barn here is the tool room. So this is where we keep backpack blowers, chainsaws, which staff really don't use. Again, you have to have a certification to use it, which our managers do. So the main thing in here for staff are backpack blowers and some pruners and things like that. Right here is our gas cabinet where we keep mixed gas cans for string trimmers, all the sort of small equipment that we have available to staff. And again, we call it the tool room because this is where we keep all our hand tools. So shovels, rakes, bunker rakes, edgers, you name it's in here. String trimmers is another main one our newer staff will use. Hover mowers, these mowers are pretty cool. They actually don't have wheels. They float on air to cut the grass. We use it to trim all our bunkers faces. It's just too steep and too dangerous to be pushing your normal push mower. So we use these machines for that trimming. Sod cutters. It's pretty dark in here right now, but even back here there's brooms and more rakes. And then all our hoses that we use for hand watering are right around the corner here.
Okay. Go.
All right, down these stairs is the basement. Probably one of the least used areas in the building. This is where most of our winter work is done. A little bit of storage for benches. Through this hallway back there is our irrigation storage, so all our spare heads, spare parts for anytime we have a break, anything like that is stored under there. In here is what used to be called the paint room. We don't do much painting in here. It's more of a storage area. It's nice and tidy here, thanks to Dylan and Kevin for cleaning this out. This winter was a big project, but it was time to reset things down here. And then this is where most of our winter work is done. All the bench staining, we repaint and refurbish all the course accessories, so ball washers, all the fittings that go on there, club cleaners, foot brushes, all that stuff is done down here.
Cool.
So the last part of the barn tour is up top. We have a small area up here. It's called the upper mezzanine. This is where we keep some of the equipment we don't use too often. You'll find some rollers up here, stump grinder, and then some of my favorite pieces of equipment are the aeration machinery. I love them, our members don't, because we are generally punching holes in the greens, tees, or fairways with them. It's all for the health of the turf, but it does cause some disruption to play. The other thing I love about up here is if you look out over here, you can see some of the architecture of the barns. Again, these were built late 1800s, early 1900s, so you can just imagine some of the work that was needed to hoist these joists up in the air. It's pretty unique and a pretty cool feature of the club.